All right. I'm not sure about the lighting, but we're just gonna deal with it. Oh yeah, and I'm wearing pink for the first time in my life, I think. So yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to make an update video because I have been in speech therapy for a year now. And I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. And also because I have been speaking a bit differently. I have been stuttering differently. And I think it will change more in the future. So I just wanted to make like an in-between video of like how it's going now. And then I can see in the future like, oh, interesting. So the therapy I am doing is of course not about trying to be fluent. If you follow me, you know that my opinion is that doesn't work. That was a great stutter. So in my experience and opinion, and I think this just makes sense, it doesn't make sense to try to be fluent as a person who stutters, because the whole struggle of stuttering comes from trying to be fluent and from trying to control something that doesn't want to be controlled. So in my head, it doesn't make sense that some therapies try to fix that by throwing even more control on it, like with speech techniques and breathing techniques and more control and throwing more layers of control on it. It doesn't make sense to me, but so that's why I'm obviously not in a therapy that is about that. The therapy is about exactly the opposite. It's about allowing the stutter to come out in an uncontrolled way. And it's been great because it makes sense for me. Like this is what I was looking for all that time. So I always felt, even though I was working on acceptance and already showing my stuttering, already being kind to myself, I always felt like there was something I was doing that made my stutter harder than it has to be. And because of the therapy, I've now found out what those things were, or are, because I'm still doing them in high fear situations. So like looking away and adding a sound, or like adding a pause, like all these tricks that some people get taught in speech therapy, because it's like, oh, if you use this trick, it actually makes the word come out fluently. But then you do that a few times and then the trick becomes part of your stuttering, and then you have to do the trick over and over again, and then the trick just becomes the stutter. So my trick used to be that I did like table. I don't know. Like I would add a chair, like an sound in front of a word, so the would be the stutter, and the word would come out fluently. But like this was still trying to control it, and so most of the tension I experienced when stuttering, I realized it was something I added. It was tension I added to try to make the stutter come out in a nice way, or like in a controlled way, or in a way that isn't ugly or like weird or like I was just scared of what would happen if I just let the stutter come out how it wants to come out. So I was adding all of this tension to try to control it and to constrain it, and yeah, this is what was causing the struggle, because the problem of stuttering isn't necessarily the repetition or the prolongations. It's the like trying to keep it like trying to keep it small, trying to keep it pretty, like trying to make it look under control, like or like trying to constrain it is the problem of stuttering. And I remember there was this one day where it all just made sense. I was just like, wait a minute, like I am adding all the tension to like try to make the stutter come out in a controlled way. But what if I just allow the stutter to come out in the way that it wants to? Just remove all the controlling and see what happens. If someone is able to let the stutter out in an uncontrolled way, then it doesn't feel like a struggle anymore. And I'm really feeling that, because I can now speak with more like enthusiasm, because I'm not constantly holding myself back from there's a stutter coming and I have to like brace myself for it, or I have to try to stop it, or I have to try to do something to not make it look ugly. And now I can just blah, 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 blah. Like I've noticed so many changes. Like I talk really fast now because I'm like, I just want to get everything out there. I talk really fast. I don't really see my stutters coming anymore, because I am not thinking about them and I'm not worrying about them. I don't feel the tension in my stomach anymore. It's just like, so, and I have to clarify, this is only in certain like low feared situations, because that's how it starts. Like you have to start allowing the loss of control in low feared situations, because it's just not gonna happen. Like it's way too difficult to like allow yourself to be so vulnerable in high feared situations. So I can only speak so spontaneously in low feared situations, but it's still nice to even be able to do that in low feared situations. I don't know how to describe it, but this is just what makes sense for me. I don't know if you can tell the difference between how I used to stutter and how, in my videos at least, and how I stutter now in my videos. I really feel the difference. Like I feel spontaneous and like I can be loud, and I don't feel like I have to praise myself, or that I have to speak in a low volume, because I'm not practicing bracing myself anymore. Like I'm not practicing trying to make it small anymore. I'm not practicing all the little tricks I was doing to try to make it sound nice, or just all the tricks I was trying to do to control the moment of stuttering. If I just, after I just remove those, I could speak spontaneously. I don't know. Also, if I was imagining myself presenting on a stage, like for example walking around on the stage, like really owning the stage and talking and being expressive and stuff, I would always think I can't do that. Not necessarily because of the stutter, but because I was just so I don't know how to explain it, but like I felt all like how I was speaking all the time, even though I was allowing the stutters to happen, I was like allowing to happen on my own terms. Like I was allowing them to happen in a controlled way. But because I was doing that all the time, I just really felt like I couldn't be enthusiastic, or I couldn't, open up my body, and because I had to like brace myself for the stutter that was coming. I was constantly bracing, it's like you can probably relate, like if you're saying a sentence, you can almost see the stutter coming. And I would always be speaking in a way that was like preparing myself for the next stutter. Like just trying to not speak too loud, or like, show too much body, like open body language. Because then if the stutter would come, I would have to control it again. And then I would be like, I would have to tense up again. So now looking back and how I feel, like I feel so, why am I sitting like this? I feel so different in how I speak now, because I don't feel, at least in the low fear situations, I feel like I don't have to brace myself anymore. Like I don't see the stutters coming, and if they come, I don't think about them. I'm not super aware of them. They just fall out of my mouth most of the time, because sometimes I'm like, oh, like if the stutter comes out in a very weird way, I'm like, ooh, like it's scary, of course, to allow yourself to have weird stutters, because yeah, if you allow the loss of control, there are gonna be some weird stutters. If I stutter now, I can just, it just falls out of my mouth, and I don't get stuck in my head, and like I don't have these blocks anymore, at least in low fear situations. I don't have these blocks anymore where I am completely like absorbed in a word and I lose all connection with the outside world. Like now I'm just like rambling on and talking and talking and talking, and I can just be enthusiastic, and I just don't have to be afraid of a stutter slowly coming. I'm like, oh no, the stutter is coming, I have to brace myself, and then I start to like tense up, and I don't have to do that anymore. I can just stutter. That's what my so this is what I've been trying to do since the beginning of making this account on Instagram and YouTube. Like, I don't know, I think I have a video about that on this channel, like the first video maybe. It's about that I want to just stutter. Like, I knew that I was doing something, even though I was already practicing acceptance and I was getting out there and showing my stutter. I always felt like I still had this thing that I was doing, which made my stutter more difficult than it has to be. Like I knew I was doing tricks and stuff in my head, or like when speaking, that was making my stutter harder than it has to be. And thanks to the therapy, I've now learned which things that those are. Oh yeah, that's another thing. So I also believed in this therapy because I remember speaking this way when I was a child. I remember stuttering spontaneously, stuttering without effort, and just like I was known for the person to be annoying in class because I was speaking too much and I was speaking super fast. And I also stuttered, but it was like very spontaneous and just blah blah blah. And there was no tension yet up until the age of 10 because I hadn't had therapy yet. I think that's why. I never had speech therapy until last year. So that's why I, up until a certain age, I was still just stuttering without trying to control it because nobody told me to. And then I was bullied. So yeah, that's when I started trying to control it because yeah, this is the difficult part. You have to allow it to sound funny, and that's why I started controlling it in the first place. Like, it's not nice, of course, or it's not easy to speak and allow the loss of control and allow the stutter to come out in a funny way. Like this is kind of like, ooh, like some people are uncomfortable with that, or they laugh, or yeah, it does happen. So that's definitely like a step to be able to show your funny sounding stutter to people. And yeah, it can be risky in some situations, so that's why I'm not able to do it in medium or high fear situations. But I think I will in the future. And I definitely prefer being laughed at occasionally than always bracing myself for stuttering and trying to get it out in a controlled way and trying to keep it small and trying to keep it sounding okay and not too much or not weird. Or I prefer speaking spontaneously and letting the stutter just fall out of my mouth over all the other stuff, which I think makes sense. But I just really enjoy it because I can just feel the difference in my belly, because there's no tension in my belly. Like if I'm like just like, can you see the difference? I don't know. Am I being annoying? I definitely prefer speaking spontaneously and allowing the stutter to be weird. And I knew that. Like, I could have told you this maybe 3 years ago, that I wanted that, but I just simply didn't know how to, or how to get there, or what I was doing that was not making me get there. But yeah, that's why I'm happy I found this therapy, because now I do. Oh, I hear some sounds downstairs. So yeah, this is just update video on how it's going, and I'm really enjoying it. And supposedly in the future my stutter will still change a bit, because now there is still, like, if it sounds really funny, usually there's some reactivity happening, which means that I'm still like a bit afraid of it. So it's still like a bit like, ooh, am I allowing it, or am I still trying to control it? And that like little internal fight is like the reactivity that makes it sound funny. So my stutter might still change in the future, but that's fine, because I'm already happy how it is now. So I almost don't want to feel too happy about this, because I'm like, yeah, like something's gonna happen and it's gonna take it away from me. But the thing is, I'm not doing anything, so there's nothing I can lose really. Like, everything I'm doing now is just doing less of what I was doing before. So I'm not trying to control, and I'm not doing any techniques, and I'm not doing any breathing, whatever's. I'm just removing all of that and just allowing the loss of control, and it feels amazing. So I'm really curious what's going to happen in the future. But like, I'm still in the very beginning stages of this. I think I started speaking like this, like in low fear situations, in October, November. And yeah, I'm curious when it's gonna move up to medium feared and higher feared situations. So I will probably keep you updated on that. So thank you for following me on this journey, because I've probably like changed my opinions a few. Well, it has always been on the same journey, I think, and sometimes I had a little bit where I was trying to control it more, and I thought that was the solution, and then I was like, no, I actually like letting go of control. So it's always been on the same journey, but it's just fun to look back at the old videos and just see. Oh yeah, that was earlier on in the journey. So yeah, thank you for following me along the journey. And I hope you're doing well. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts if you want. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, where I'll be doing completely something else, and I'll be controlling my stutter again. No, I will definitely not do that. I will stutter with even more weird stutters next time, and it's gonna be great. Alright, I have to stop talking now because it's too much. Whew. Thank you for watching. Bye. Also, the thank you for watching was so easy. Anyway.